What's up, Skylar? This is Brian from LeadHounds. Just like we talked about, this video is going to show you a few things that Virtual Solar can start doing to bring in more customers through your website without having to pay for leads one at a time. So you might have asked yourself, why is Brian spending all the time to show me all this stuff for free? Can't Virtual Solar just go do it ourselves and take advantage of the extra business? And the answer is that at LeadHounds, we're all about providing value to our clients, right? Regardless of the price, we want it to be a positive value for you. So that's why I like to give you the value up front. And then what I usually find is that most businesses don't have time or resources to worry about perfecting their website or showing up on Google searches. So if you do have the time, that's great. I encourage you to use what you learn here. But if you don't, and you like what you see, just give me a call, shoot me an email after you're done watching, and we can talk about the next steps. All right, so I mentioned those three strategies, but what are they trying to do, right? What's the goal of those strategies? And that centers around what's called buyer intent keywords. So that's basically a word or a phrase that a customer is going to search when they want to pay for a service. They're already made up their mind, like, I want to buy solar panels. So what I've noticed in the solar industry is that a lot of companies are pouring resources into websites and SEO, but they don't target the right kinds of words, right? I see lots of companies just showing up for their business's name, right? But that's not going to get you a new customer. That's only going to get you someone who you've already sold to, right? You probably already called them. So these buyer intent keywords are going to get you those new customers that are looking to pay for your service. So for you guys, a buyer intent keyword, a good example might be solar panels Dallas, right? If you're doing installations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So I went ahead and searched that in Google, and we can look at what comes up. We got paid ads at the top. Those are always going to show up first. We got the maps right here. We'll come back to that. And then finally, we got what's called the organic listings. So these are the websites that show up without having to pay money directly to Google. So these are where most of the clicks are going to go, right? Most of the people who search this stuff are going to go to one of these top websites. So we can look at the top here, and we got Sunrun at the top, Dallas Fort Worth, DFW Solar Electric, number 2 spot. And we can scroll down and keep looking for Virtual Solar. And we're on to the second page. And yeah, I mean, you can't find Virtual Solar anywhere. So once you get to the second page, I'll be honest with you, nobody's clicking on a link that's on the second page, right? They're going to one of these first, 3 to 5 websites. And so you might ask, like, how many people are actually searching this stuff? Like, is this even a number that matters to me? Well, we can take a look. So this is a tool I use called Ahrefs. It gives me search engine data. And we can look right here. Here's that keyword we searched for. So that gets 1,100 searches every single month. And if you look down this list, right, Dallas solar panels, that's another 500 right there, another 150, right? So if you just go down this list, this is literally thousands of people who are looking to get solar panels installed on their roofs every single month. And if you're not showing up for these searches, then nobody's going to find your website. So why don't we take a look at what Virtual Solar is showing up on Google for? So I went ahead and searched for Virtual Solar in Ahrefs, and let's take a look at your keywords. So you guys show up for 5 keywords: solar pergola Texas, solar panel pergolas, right? So it's good that you show up for a few, but the problem is none of these are considered buyer intent keywords, right? Because even like solar pergola Texas, that could be searching from anywhere in Texas, right? Could be in El Paso. I don't know if you guys do installations in El Paso, but if you don't, that's not going to help you, right? You want specific cities like Dallas. Then somebody's just going to click on your website and call you up. The other downside here is that, look, your top keyword is in the 29th position on Google. That means there's 28 other websites showing up before Virtual Solar. So nobody's going to find that when you're that low. And let's take a look at one of those competitors. I searched for DFW Solar right here, and they show up for 415 keywords. So that's quite a few. And we can look at theirs, and look at this. So we got Solar Panels Dallas, Solar Dallas. Look at all these, 700, another 700. And for their position, they're showing up in the top 5 for all of these, right? Look, I mean, this shows number 4, but if we look at the search results here, so they're actually number 2. Got the local, this is the maps, this is like related questions, and they're in the 2nd spot. So that means that they're showing up in like the top 1 or 2 positions for all these keywords, and they literally have hundreds or thousands of people visiting their website, probably filling out their forms, calling their phones to get solar panels installed every single month. So how can we beat them out for those top spots? And that's going to come back to those strategies that I mentioned at the start of the video. And the first one of those is going to be what's called your on-site SEO, your on-site content, right? So that comes down to a few things. Number one is going to be the actual words you put on your website. And what Google wants to see is about 1,500 to 2,000 words of content that on the homepage that actually uses those keywords you're trying to target. So if we look at your website here, we can scroll down and, you have a decent amount of content, right? There's probably, 600-700 words. So maybe even have 1,000 words. So that's a great start. But then why aren't you showing up, right? Well, if I go ahead and search solar panels Dallas, look, that doesn't even show up on here one time, right? And that's just the content. There's other things you can do, like optimizing your images, right? Every single one of these images, these should be named after one of those keywords. And look, what's this? What they say. Like, that's not a keyword. So those are a few things. Then there's a lot of other back-end on-site SEO things you can do to start showing up. So let's look at that competitor, DFW Solar. All right, so here they are. Scroll to the bottom. All right, they don't have too much content either. But what that means is, one, they're probably beating you out in some other area. But two, that's a good thing. Because if we do it right on your website, we're definitely going to start beating them out in terms of on-site SEO content. All right, let's move on to the second strategy. That's going to be off-site SEO, which mainly revolves around backlinks. So a backlink is when another website posts a link that goes to your website. And what that does is it tells Google two things. Number one, that you are a credible company. If other people are talking about you, that basically gives you points in Google's eyes that you're not just some random spammy company. And number two, it tells them that you're relevant to whatever those linking websites are talking about, right? So if they're actually using your keywords to link back to you, then that's going to give you an even bigger boost in terms of the Google rankings. So we can see here, Virtual Solar only has 2 backlinks, right? So that's not too many, right? And if we look at that competitor, DFW, they have 111 backlinks. So right there, you can see why, even though their content isn't great, they have way more backlinks than Virtual Solar does, and that's probably boosting them up in the rankings. So what we can do is we can go in here, we can look at each and every one of these, and we can copy all of these backlinks, right? I can go to this website and get you a backlink, right? And you can do it too. So then we'll match what they're doing. But we want to make sure we're not just matching them, we're blowing them out of the water. So what we'll do there is get you 100 additional backlinks. And one thing we do for that is we use a network of websites that Leadhounds built and owns that are specifically designed for backlinking. You know, they have strong authority from the websites, and they only will link to websites we want them to, so they're only going to our clients. They're not going to be going to DFW. So that's going to get you to really start climbing those rankings and start to compete with DFW Solar. All right, so one more thing I want to mention is that Google Map Pack that we saw before. So that's this section right here. I'm sure you've seen it a million times. You Google business, you see this map right here. Then you see these top 3 businesses right here. So these are the Map Pack featured businesses, and they're super important because they actually get about 30 to 40% of the website traffic that comes from searches like this. So you want to be in these top 3. Now, how do you do that? Well, one strategy we use is called citations. So a citation is kind of like a backlink, except instead of linking to your website, it goes to your Google Maps listing. And we'll basically match what these competitors do, same thing as the backlinks, and then just add basically double what they're doing, so we blow them out of the water. And then on top of that, there's a few other things we can do, such as optimizing your images on your Google Maps listing and optimizing all the fields that Google lets you fill out. And that's really going to start to get you to shoot up these maps rankings and get those extra clicks. All right, Skylar. So those are the 3 things I wanted to mention. As a reminder, that's your number 1 is your on-site SEO. It's going to be your content and optimizing all the images and the technical stuff that you don't see on here. Number 2, your backlinks, right? We want to look at your top competitor online, match what they're doing, and then just add a bunch more so we can make sure we're beating them. And finally, it's getting you in that Google Map Pack, right? Just getting you in those top 3 businesses so you can take advantage of that bonus traffic. All right, thanks again for watching. I really hope you learned something from this. Hope it was valuable to you. If you like what you see, just give me a call or shoot me an email, and we'll talk about the next steps. All right, thanks.